One good thing, Cameron, about a tight election is that Labor tries, just for the time of the campaign that is, to be less extreme. You know, all bets are off once the election's over. In this case, the Prime Minister has told Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek to put a sock in it. Overruled there. He wants to save salmon farms in Tasmania's Macquarie Harbour on the west coast and save Labor seats from down there from activists wanting to shut down salmon farming that they claim is endangering a rare skate. The Greens were particularly livid today. Here they are.
On the eve of the election, have you sold out your environment credentials for a rotten, stinking extinction salmon? Extinction salmon.
Senator Hanson-Young, remove the prop from the chamber.
Now, Cameron, you're an expert on crises management and all that kind of stuff, and politics as well. What do you think that stunt's going to backfire? Because I just look at that good salmon and I'm thinking, absolutely yum. Give me a steak from that
I'm thinking
salmon.
dinner time.
Others will think fishing, what a great industry. You know, or is it, you know, should it just be grateful Labor's learning there aren't actually many votes in radical green policies?
Well, as you say, there's obviously an election around the corner because the Liberals have actually asked for legislation to protect the salmon industry for 3 times. 3 times they've asked for it, and Albo snubbed them. But suddenly he's got 2 marginal seats in Tasmania. So for the next 33 days, he's going to be the pro-salmon guy. No, look, if he was serious about this, the way the Greens... Seriously, if he was serious about the Greens, he'd also be protecting our coal mines, our gas reserves from the lawfare that we see these green activist groups take on our resources sector with. So no, I mean, this is a fix for 33 days. I like salmon, you like salmon, so it's good for the industry. But in the end, he was brought kicking and screaming to this decision.
Mind you, it hasn't gone the whole hog. I remember then Tony Abbott, when he was in Tasmania, ate an onion to prove he was with the people. I think the least he could have done.
Very odd, true.
Anthony Albanese was stuck into some salmon. Tasmanian is yummy salmon. Michael, looking at all this, obviously I don't think anyone can call it with any certainty until after Peter Dutton's speech tomorrow. I just think this is the week that sets up the election. It'll probably be called on Sunday. The budget and the reply are really going to set it up like nothing before. How do you see the two parties? How do you see the election now shaping up?
Well, Andrew, I haven't changed my mind on this. I think it is going to be a minority Labor government. It really, the issue for me is how many seats constitutes that minority. Do we end up with a situation where that the Albanese government has got to form a coalition with the Greens to get over the line, or do we end up with some, situation where they can rely on 1 or 2 of the other independents to try and get their policies through? I mean, look, I just don't think that Dutton has focused on the real cost of living. I mean, as I said last week, nuclear energy is great, but it's not a short-term solution. He needs to talk about gas. He needs to talk about keeping our coal-fired generators going for a reasonable amount of time. I think they're being lazy on policy, Andrew, and that's why I focus on, a pathway to tax indexation, some increase in defence spending, and doing something concrete about energy policy, not nuclear energy, 2 decades into the future. And I think that's where he's let himself down.
I will say this about the nuclear energy policy, that it's actually a very good way for the Liberals to say, to avoid an argument about global warming. They're saying, oh, yes, this is going to be renewable,
net zero
this is going to be emissions-friendly power, and so let's have an argument about that, which is the one they're more likely to win than one on global warming. Michael Costa, Cameron Milner, thank you very much to you both.